0% of you are subscribed. Fix that.
If your participation in these systems, and let's be perfectly clear here, okay? The crime of capitalism is not that there are businesses that are privately owned. The crime is that there is nothing but. Whether or not a lefty chooses to open a business has no bearing on the existence of capitalism, and it also does nothing but, and this may sound like a capitalist argument, but I do believe this, expand the opportunities for workers in the region, because they have N+1 places to potentially work at now, furthering their opportunities and potentially giving them a better shot. The implementation of a business only adds utility, it doesn't derive it, whether or not you're a lefty.
The problem is you committing the action that you deem immoral. You can't use the system.
I don't think that's immoral.
Okay, fine. So here's a question. You enter a shady business, okay? Let's say that there is a woman, she's locked in a fucking cage, and it says not going to be freed until she's raped. You know that no matter what happens, somebody has to rape that woman in order for her to get freed. It doesn't matter if you do it or someone else does it.
I'm not going to dignify these hypotheticals. I get clipped enough.
Well, so with your moral system, whether or not you do the immoral act, oh, you know what? Just because it's you, we'll go for a toned down one. Let's say that you walk across somebody's car, and let's say that on their car seat, you see that their window's down and their wallet's laying on their car seat. If you steal that wallet, are you just as like okay to do it as anyone else because anybody else could walk by and steal the wallet? Like, is it okay for you to do it because someone else will steal it if you don't?
I think those are comparable.
Yes. It's the exact same thing.
So
there is a wallet on a seat in a car. You walk by, the window's down. If you don't steal it, someone else is going to steal it. Do you think that you might as well steal it because somebody else could?
Opening a business and giving wage slaves the opportunity to work and be wage slaves at a different place, compelling no one, coercing no one, only implicitly through capitalism and market forces, to work at your place. This is the same to you as...
Wait, you're giving the most based libertarian anarcho-capitalist takes right now. When I open a business, I don't force anyone to work for me. They do it by their own volition. You know that's not true.
The only that's why I said except for the implicit coercion of capitalism in a market system. What's the point of me qualifying if you don't hear?
Maybe I missed it. I'm sorry. It feels like you're giving me like ANCAP takes.
No, you acknowledge that my argument meets a utilitarian threshold. You acknowledge that my argument, that what I'm saying doesn't contribute harm to the world, the net utility only increases.
My problem is that if you have an actor with a specific ethical system, I think that it would be morally wrong not to act in congruence with it. So what I'm saying is, so in your world, it sounds like anybody walking by the car, you might as well take the wallet because any other person would be. But what I would say is, you could just all not.
Wait, what if you just?
Wait, what if you could just not? Wait,
yeah. What if just nobody took the wallet?
In that case, you could just not open the business.
Well, then where are people going to work? What if nobody...
Another person will open the business. You don't have to.
What difference does that make? The difference is, people need jobs. Nobody needs their wallet stolen.
That's not relevant here. We're not talking about the particular...
Yes, it is, because in that case...
No, that's not what we're talking about.
If everybody refrains from stealing the wallet, nobody steals the wallet and everything is fine. If nobody opens a business, there are no jobs and capitalism doesn't exist and we all starve.
If there's a $100 bill on the floor, somebody's going to take it. You're saying that if somebody else walks by and takes it, because your arguments earlier was, does the net harm or the net good in the world change? Well, if not, then it doesn't fucking matter.
If nobody picks up the $100 bill, everything remains fine. But if nobody opens a business, we don't have an economy and we all go back to trading rocks for seashells.
Wait, then why don't you use the same argument then for the cop? If like the cop shouldn't arrest the person for smoking weed because maybe just no cops could arrest somebody for smoking weed.
Because wait, that's not the same. You're conflating good action within...
I'm not.
Wait, hold. No, you conflated two things there. You did, and you'll recognize it if you give me a second. There's a difference between expecting everybody to act very well within an institution and abstaining from participating in that institution altogether. And the analogies that we're providing, not opening a business and not taking the $100 bill off the ground, are abstaining entirely. Whereas you just said, what if every cop just did really good in their job? I think that'd be fantastic, by the way.
Okay, I'm going to give you this analogy from all three perspectives, okay? And it lines up with everyone, okay? Sure. So in World 1, I would say that all three of these actions we can say are immoral, okay? It can be 1, arresting somebody for having marijuana is immoral because you are acting in a way that I think is shitty if you're like a socialist or a moral person, even if you're in that system. I think it's bad. So 1 is arresting somebody for weed, okay? Fuck you. You have a discretion. You have discretion as a cop. You don't have to do that, okay? Number two, stealing somebody's wallet. You don't have to steal their wallet. Even if someone else is going to steal it, fuck it. Don't do it. That's bad. Okay. And then three, opening a business and exploiting your workers by collecting wage slaves. You don't have to do that either. Okay. You don't. That's wrong if you're a socialist. Okay. All three of those are wrong. Now, that's on all three levels. That's wrong. Morally wrong. Now, morally neutral. Okay. I guess morally neutral would be the cop, I guess, meeting his quota if he has to arrest somebody because a friend like radioed it in. Okay. Fine. That's morally neutral. You're existing in a way you have to exist in the system. Okay. For the lefty, I can't think of a morally neutral way to open a business. I guess maybe you just don't open a business. You just don't do anything and you let somebody else step by and open a business. Or actually, I'm sorry. We'll say the cop doesn't arrest somebody. Maybe somebody else steps by. He never becomes a cop. Okay. Or for the lefty never opens a business. And then, or for the wallet guy like never steals the wallet. He never walks by, never takes the wallet. He just does nothing or whatever. But then on the ethically like high side, like these would be good things to do on all three levels. The cop could like, not only could the cop not arrest somebody or not be a cop, the cop could tell somebody like, hey, throw that away. Like there are other cops that are come by, right? He could try to help people that are drugs. Like, hey, like go check in somewhere, do something good as a cop, right? Or two, the lefty business owner could open a co-op. He could open a business and say, hey, we're actually going to do rev sharing. If you work here during rush hour, you're going to get paid like $6 an hour more because we're making more money. Or for the guy that sees the wallet, the guy could go into the car, take the wallet, and then find the owner and say like, hey, dude, your car was open. Here's the wallet. Like this is all three levels of like moral action. So you could either act morally wrong, or you could disengage from the system completely, or you could act morally right. I think that I can encourage people to act morally righteous. I don't think it's fair to say, well, if he doesn't open a business and act in a bad way, someone else will just open the business. No, he could open the business and act in a good way. If these are truly what his ethics are,
yes,
you could do that.
That would be good.
Yes. But the neutral and the disengagement thing, if you have principles, I don't think that's good. I think that's bad.
So
if you
were incorrect in one respect, which was the assumption that the neutral option for a lefty opening a business would be to not open that business, which I obviously disagree with. I'm sorry, if there's some irreconcilable difference that we're not going to resolve here, then we might as well not waste an additional hour on it. If you acknowledge that when a lefty opens a business, and let's say pays market rate same as everyone else, and the workers are treated fine, really middle of the road, as hard as that is to abstract, all you are doing in a purely empirical sense is giving local workers an additional choice, an additional place that they could sell their labor to. An unethical institution, unfortunate, but you are not compelling or mandating or directing any direct harm. If you didn't do that, there would be no benefit to the world. If you do that, you have the potential to enact benefit. And there is a utilitarian...
If you have the means to act in harmony with your principles, then for you to do less...
I genuinely think that your perspective on this issue has been tainted or corroded in some way by the people that you've argued online with.
If it's been tainted or corroded by anything, it's by the fact that I went to a Jesuit high school, and what part of what we taught, I guess, was like that you should live your principles. That maybe that's the corrosion here.
Yes, but the difference is you aren't accurately describing my principles.
Well, your principles is that as long as someone else is going to step up and fuck somebody over, you might as well do it yourself.
No harm is done by
fucking somebody over, because someone else could just do it. Yes, there is harm. It is necessarily exploitative to have wage slaves.
The system is exploitative. Even if they're not working at your place, they'll work at another one.
But if you are participating and encouraging and furthering that system by owning a business and exploit that interaction,
when did you stop being a utilitarian?
It's not a...
No, all of the arguments that you've been making have rung deontological to me. If that's your dig, that's fine. But your understanding of what I think is hypocritical or what I think is wrong or incorrect is just not the case. Maybe a lot of other lefties would agree. Maybe a lot of other lefties would say, yeah, owning a business as a lefty is hypocritical. And if that's the case, you can roast the fuck out of them all you want.
If you have the means to do something more in harmony with your ethical principles... as a utilitarian, that's what we should be encouraging everybody to do.
What is the difference between the obligatory good and the supererogatory? What must one do to avoid being bad, or what is simply good to do voluntarily? Watch the debate, man.